Let's jump straight into it. Number 1, Phineas Gage. This accident should have ended immediately. It didn't. In 1848, Phineas Gage was working on a railroad construction site in Vermont. His job involved blasting rock, which meant packing explosive powder into holes and tamping it down with an iron rod. It was routine work, dangerous, but familiar. Then something went wrong. A spark ignited the powder early. The iron tamping rod shot upward like a missile, passed through Gage's head, and landed dozens of feet away. The rod was over 3 feet long and weighed more than a bowling ball. Gage didn't lose consciousness. He sat up, spoke clearly, and even walked with help. Doctors arrived expecting the worst and instead found a patient who was alert and talking. The physical damage was severe, but Gage survived the immediate aftermath without infection, coma, or collapse. The real shock came later. Gage recovered physically enough to walk, work, and live independently, but his personality changed dramatically. Friends said he became impulsive, short-tempered, and unreliable. A man once described as capable and steady was now unpredictable and blunt. At the time, this confused doctors. The idea that personality lived in the brain wasn't widely accepted yet. Gage became living evidence that it did. He survived an injury no one expected anyone to survive. He lived another 12 years. The accident didn't kill him. It rewired him. That wasn't the only time survival came with an asterisk. Number 2, Violet Jessop. She survived disasters that seemed to be checking boxes. Violet Jessop worked as a stewardess during the golden age of ocean liners. This was not a safe job. Ships were massive, fast, and packed with people. When things went wrong, they went wrong publicly. Jessop was on board the RMS Titanic when it struck an iceberg in 1912. She survived. After the sinking, she continued working at sea. 4 years later, she was aboard the HMHS Britannic, Titanic's sister ship, when it hit a mine during World War I. It sank too. Jessop escaped again, even after being injured while evacuating. In between, she had also been on the RMS Olympic when it collided with a warship. That ship didn't sink, but it didn't help the pattern. 3 major ship disasters. 1 person. Jessop lived into her 80s. She never sought attention for it and treated the events as professional hazards. She kept going back to sea. At some point, survival stopped being remarkable and started being routine, moving from water to weather. Number 3, Roy Sullivan. This survival story kept repeating itself. Roy Sullivan was a U.S. park ranger who didn't just get struck by lightning once, he survived it 7 times over decades. The strikes happened in different locations and circumstances. Sometimes he was on duty, sometimes he wasn't. Once, lightning struck his truck. Another time, it hit him while he was fishing. Another time, while walking. Each incident caused serious injury. None killed him. Doctors didn't understand how his body endured repeated electrical trauma. Statistically, it bordered on absurd. Being struck once is rare. Surviving 7 times is something probability doesn't like to talk about. Sullivan became famous for it, though he didn't enjoy the attention. He reportedly avoided crowds, worried lightning would strike nearby people instead. Coworkers joked nervously about standing too close to him during storms. Lightning kept finding him, everything else didn't. He lived for decades after the last strike, carrying scars but still alive. Nature tried very hard, it didn't finish the job. Next, survival by isolation. Number 4, Julian Kupchi. This crash left no margin for error. In 1971, Julian Kupcha was flying over the Peruvian rainforest when her plane was struck by lightning mid-air. The aircraft broke apart. Kupcha fell thousands of feet. She survived the fall because she was still strapped to her seat, which slowed her descent through dense forest. She woke up alone, injured, and surrounded by jungle. No rescue team arrived. Kupcha had basic survival knowledge from her parents, who were scientists familiar with the rainforest. She followed a stream, knowing it might lead to people. She walked for days, dealing with injuries, insects, and exhaustion. Eventually, she reached a logging camp. She was the only survivor out of over 90 passengers. The crash should have been fatal at multiple points. The fall, the injuries, the environment, any one of them could have ended it. None did. She later returned to the crash site as an adult, not to tempt fate, just to confirm it had happened. One more, where survival came from timing. Number 5, Tsutomu Yamaguchi. This story involved being in the wrong place twice. Tsutomu Yamaguchi was a Japanese engineer working in Hiroshima in August 1945 when the atomic bomb detonated. He survived the blast and its immediate effects. Injured but alive, he returned home. Home was Nagasaki. 3 days later, a second atomic bomb exploded there. Yamaguchi survived again. He lived long enough to tell the story publicly decades later, becoming one of the few officially recognized survivors of both bombings. His survival wasn't painless or easy, but it was complete enough to defy expectation. History rarely gives second chances at that scale. He took two. That's enough history for one video.